Hi guys, Jay Knowlton here once again, and this video is not intended to instigate any sort of drama. I'm not gonna mention the person who inspired this video. Inspired is a bit of a weird way to describe it, but well, I made a TikTok and I had to remix him there because the video wouldn't really make sense. But yeah, I'm not looking to start any fights. And I guess by saying that at the beginning of the video, it could actually make the intention to start a fight worse. On the other side, I'm not looking to engage. But I have obviously, like most of you, noticed that there is an increase in anti-foreigner or anti-immigration sentiment here in Japan, whether that be long overdue or not. It's a bit weird to say because the number of foreigners in Japan has been going up and up and up. Naturally, the number of bad foreigners is also going up and up and up. And Japanese people are probably getting pretty tired or pretty worried about different aspects. And there's probably a whole pool of issues that need to really be addressed. And unfortunately, with the way the internet works and the way that life works in 2025, there is no real good way to engage in discourse across a nation, across a people. There are elections, which you don't really have conversations about. There are debates that usually end in fights, which don't usually progress very well, and people aren't usually looking to listen to each other's opinions. And then there's social media, which is a burning pile of garbage where people just want to say whatever they want because they are usually anonymous, whether what they say is true, whether what they say makes sense, whether what they say is productive. It doesn't really matter. People just want to put crap on the internet. So, I've been living in Japan for 12 years. Have I necessarily felt a rise of anti-foreigner sentiment? Well, yes and no. Personally, to me, I haven't really experienced anything, any sort of racism or any sort of prejudice, any sort of attack. However, I do have to do the disclaimer that I am a white man, and as all the, of all the races and all the genders that could appeal to Japanese people or appeal to people in general, that sounds weird. I'm probably not wording it very well, but I would probably get more of a pass than other people, if that makes sense. Where there are subsectors, there are people who would get targeted more and attacked more just based on where they're from. Now, the anti-foreigner sentiment is not unique to Japan. This is happening everywhere, all over the world. If you look at Twitter, I stopped using Twitter a couple of years ago. I decided a couple of weeks ago just to have a look at the website, just to see if it's got any nicer. It is awful. It is worse than when I left. But what I did see is that there's just so many posts and so many videos about like doctors and engineers in Germany trying to grab a girl, or doctors and engineers causing trouble in London and stuff like that. It just feels like there is anti-foreigner sentiment everywhere. And that's because we have not been able to find a world that is completely peaceful. Because unfortunately, bad things happen in all different places and people want to move to places that are prosperous. Which is, it's the rule to say a country exists with laws and borders, but in a general, it's not really fair to be born into a particular situation. Like, why should a person who is born into poverty or born into a place that doesn't really have something that people can aspire to be something in, like, why should they be locked somewhere? It's so difficult to really unpack and unwind everything. And at the end of the day, there are rules that should be followed, but also at the same time, it's like there are a lot of injustices in the world. And as a human, as a person who was born and have feelings and have dreams, it does kind of hurt to look at people who maybe have difficult situations. And, a lot of young working age men are usually targeted in these things. But at the end of the day, when I was growing up, I had a lot of dreams of things that I wanted to be. and I'm sure a lot of people did too. But a lot of people get locked into jobs, low-paying jobs or professions or situations based purely on where they were born and raised. It's kind of difficult, and the only way to get a better life is to move somewhere. The start of this video got much deeper than I intended it to be. However, I don't think Japan is going to come up with the most peaceful of solutions. But Japan also does benefit from being far, far away from anywhere else. If you want to come to Japan, you have to buy a plane ticket and fly here, which isn't always cheap. It kind of makes the barrier to entry much bigger than, for example, England and Europe, where you can just get in to a country and then travel across the whole continent. However, so the reason I'm making this video in particular, I'll get to the point of the video eventually, is, you know, naturally there are discussions online, anti-foreign, anti-immigration online. But what I do find weird is that there is now more and more foreigners and immigrants in Japan who are also joining in the discourse. And the guy that I made a TikTok about is a person like me from the UK. He's from Newcastle. I think Geordie, yeah, he's Geordie. He's from Newcastle. And he is talking about constantly the Sanseito Party. He loves the Sanseito Party. He agrees with the Sanseito Party, which is quite odd because if you look at the Sanseito's policies, it's kind of similar to Reform UK in England, where they make a lot of claims or statements which appeal to people, but would never actually be legally applicable if they came into power. It's very, very weird. It's, you know, it's one of those idealistic parties that kind of try to catch all the people who are on the verge of some kind of feeling and trying to just suck them in. So he talks about, you know, being anti-immigrant, loving the Sanseito Party, and then he made a TikTok about how he's going to join an anti-immigrant demo in Osaka. And he'd even made a t-shirt about how it says he'd hand-drawn it and it looked really crap, but I don't want to be too harsh about his art. I don't know. It was basically in Japanese. It was like how England and Japan are both islands. We're the same. We should protect our islands. And the reason why this kind of struck a chord with me is because he would never make something like that in England himself. And the idea of it is quite childish, that he's kind of handwritten on a white t-shirt. It's kind of something that you would do as a kid. Because if he was in England right now, and I don't think he would be making TikToks about being anti-immigrant or anti-immigration or anti-foreigner, especially because he would be benefiting from the fact that he is a native British person. So he probably would just be able to ignore it. You know, we're not exactly massive contributors to the future of Japan, let's say that. We are just here through easier means, by means of being white people who have either married a Japanese person or got a university degree in England, and that's how we got in. So for me, it does feel weird now that we're seeing more and more foreigners joining this anti-foreigner movement, because it doesn't feel like it's going to end well. And what you kind of notice is that it's kind of more of an appeal to get Japanese people to like you, so that if the eventuality comes that something does happen with anti-immigrant or anti-foreigner movements, you kind of get to avoid the fire. You kind of be like, no, I'm on your side, guys. Don't attack me. I love you guys. I'm with you. I believe the same things you do. It's kind of like, no, if you're a good person living in Japan, you follow the rules, you do what you want, you probably aren't what they're talking about. What we should be talking about is kind of the people from countries that have more difficulties, because they're the ones who are going to be targeted, as they are everywhere, unfortunately. So yeah, it does feel like it's more of an appeal to just get people to like you. And what we see when we usually see people go overboard when trying to be inclusive on a difficult issue is that he's done this before. I've seen on his TikToks before, because I've seen him make apology videos, is that with social media as well, all it takes is one mistake for everyone to turn on you. And I have seen videos where he's made apologies because he has made a video that's pissed Japanese people off. So you've got to be very careful about what you do on the internet, because now social media, you are locked in, your face is there forever. And I don't really think it's a good idea to join and push this more. I personally think it's better that we just keep setting good examples and try to help other foreigners integrate and support them better, rather than trying to stand as the beacon of foreign people and being like, no, I'm different from you, I'm with the Japanese. It's like, no, let's try and make everything better together. Let's try and show Japanese people that we are contributing, we are making a difference, and we all have our place here because your government let us in. But guys, what do you think? Maybe this is a bit of a rambly video, but thanks all for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.